semi-final here in this club, they tell me, yeah. But they'll be hard to beat, obviously.
Oh yes, obviously, you know, they've got so many young fellas trying to get into that team. You know, it's frightening, really. Great talent. TJ Reid came into as a sub last Sunday, and he was like a veteran. He slotted over 4 points. Magnificent display out of a substitute. You know, that's what we're up against as other counties, you know.
If you're coming on as a sub, though, it's the team you'd love to come on to, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah, and you'd want to stay there, and that's why the performances are then so good, you know.
Yeah, OK. For now, Gerald, thanks very much. Well, of course, a hurling season throws up a lot of talking points. Who'll get the All-Stars? Will they get 15? The Hurler of the Year, and, of course, Goal of the Season. Here's our favourite 5 goals.
And look how open they are again. There's another opportunity for Fogarty this time. First time stopped, second time buried. 2 in a row for Eddie Brennan. 2 goals in the space of a minute. And this final looks to be consigned to the ashes.
Dermot Lang gives it inside for Stephen Doyle. Thinking about a second goal, third goal. He's got it. Third goal, Wexford. Second goal, Doyle. And the Wexford fans rejoice on the terraces of Semple Stadium.
Pressure on again, and John O'Brien takes it for Tipperary. Tipney to score to settle them down. Oh, it's in the back of the net. That could be the match winner by John O'Brien. John O'Brien says enough of the dillying and the dallying. It's time to settle this as a tie. Little hand pass outside here, coming onto it, Eddie Brennan. Oh, another one for Eddie Brennan! Back of the net. All of a sudden, it's Kilkenny's game. 4 minutes after his first, Eddie Brennan comes in, catches the goalkeeper. Back of the net. Derek Ling, the provider. Brennan, the finisher.
Seamus Callanan. Owen Kelly. This is when he's most dangerous. Trying to turn, takes a shot. Oh, what a brilliant goal! 1 ball, 1 shot, 1 goal. Quality, class.
Some great ones there. Gerald, which one would stand out for you?
Well, I must say last Sunday's goal by Eddie Brennan, the one that he got from the rebound off the save, I thought it was a tremendous goal, and I thought it would have been played up a lot more than it was, because you don't see ground hurling strokes like that anymore, and he really buried it. That was a great goal, I think. I would have to say, though, Owen Kelly's goal against us in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, I did think it was a superb goal. He was under intense pressure from Brian Murphy. He had to find that little bit of room to strike without being blocked, and he still found the corner of the net. It was, with force, it was a brilliant goal. I would give Owen Kelly #1.
Yeah. Van Larkin is here as well, one of many James Stephens men with a book full of All-Ireland medals here. How do you feel when comparisons are made between teams of different eras, Van?
I don't think you could compare. It's like we say Brian's team of 82 and 3. It's very hard. They were a fantastic team. They won 3 National Leagues and 2 All-Irelands. You know, and on injury, we'd probably have won the 3 in a row. Brian was injured for the 3rd one. But it's very hard to compare. The game is different. The ball is different. The rules are different. I mean, it's very hard.
As I understand it, it's because of you that the rules are different.
Ollie Welch played in the 50s, and Ollie Welch probably had one of the best puck outs was ever seen with the old ball. And he was on his best to drive it to the 70-yard, the opposition 70-yard. But now, if Gerard Cunningham was playing today, he'd be driving the ball wide. You know, with the ball. The ball is... And every time you puck out the ball now, it's a brand new ball. Because there's lads behind the goal, when it goes over the bar, goes wide, he's throwing you in a new one. That time you used to have to wait for the ball to come back.
And half the time it'd be stolen.
Yeah. Well, that happened in 57.
Well, it didn't
the ball didn't come back,
Have you still got it?
No, but I have the Hurling John Grexton walked around Croker Parkwood.
Have you?
I have, yeah.
From the film they made
then, Kilkenny had 16 men on the
Rooney,
field that day, again Waterford,
Let's see Mick Crotty behind you there, and Chunky beside you, Chunky O'Brien. Hiya, Chunky, good to see you.
Hello there.
You would have played alongside Brian Cody. When you did you expect him to become this legendary manager that he is?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Why wouldn't I?
No. Could you see it in him then?
Of course you could, yeah. But,
what gives him that?
He was always talking us through the game at that time.
Was he, yeah. Joe Hennessy, how are you doing? How do you feel about this view of Leinster hurling having gone weaker?
I think it has improved this year. It might have been a bit weaker the last couple of years, but definitely this year now, Offaly gave us a good tough run of it up in Tullamore Portlaoise. Yeah. They were very good, and we got a goal just before half time, and they definitely improved, and they're a team coming. Yeah. And Wexford are not too bad either. Like, so maybe if Dublin could get to a Leinster final even, and maybe an All-Ireland quarter final, bring the crowds back. Yeah, it'd be great for hurling.
Well, that's a slow process, but they are working away, as you know, at underage.
Yes. Yeah. So crown hurling if they could make the breakthrough.
Yeah. In a word, will Kenny win 4 in a row?
I couldn't see anyone coming here in days, no.
You know the way managers pin someone's words up in the dressing room?
I'm off now, Dad.
All right, thanks very much, lads. Well, coming up after the break, we'll be looking forward to the All-Ireland football final with Cork's manager Conor Coonan, as well, of course, as the big Camogie and under-21 hurling final this weekend. See you after the break.
When I give myself.
If back pain gets in my way, I want something strong to help me tackle it. I choose Panadol Extra for a very good reason. It can give me 30% greater pain relief. Panadol Extra. It's my choice.
The sub of the day from Subway. A different sub every day for just €2.99. Yep, still only $2.99. Made the way you want. Subway. Eat fresh.
Seven Up Free, made with natural flavours. Nature is closer than you think.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, make allowance for their doubting too. If you can dream and not make dreams your master. If you can think and not make thoughts your aim. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. Yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Vodafone. Make the most of now.
At Bulmers, we've long understood the importance of making time.
And I ask you, friend, what's a fella to do? 'Cause her hair's black and her eyes are blue. Oh, and I lost my heart to a Galway girl.
Bulmers Original Cider. Time dedicated to you.
Each generation must face its own challenges. And how we respond to those challenges shapes us as a nation. And makes us the people we are. For us, climate change is the single biggest challenge that we face, and our response will define us as a generation. This is our time. This is our challenge. Change your world. Change the world.
One player practicing sportsmanship is far better than 50 preaching it.
Welcome back to a celebratory James Stephens Club in Kilkenny. Now, we're going to be talking hurling and camogie shortly, but first a little football, and I'm delighted to say we're joined by the one man who not only knows what it takes to beat Kerry in the championship, but he was also well able to put Colin O'Rourke and Joe Brolly in their place.
Chance of a Kerry goal.
If this keeps going the way it is, it'll be one of the easiest Munster championships that Kerry have ever won.
No, I think the game is over.
Yeah, might as well forget about it. It's a disaster.
It's a joke of a game.
Good ball. Puts and gets a touch. Cork are back in the Munster final. Here comes a chance. That is fantastic score. Kerry, the All-Ireland champions, have been beaten in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in quite a sensational second half.
We're very sorry.
Well, Conor, you know me well.
Formally now from RTE as an analyst. It's the last time you'll see me. And
Conor, you know me well from the past anyway, and the amount of times I apologise to you after games.
Lads, if it was performance related, you'd be gone long ago.
Yeah, will you please welcome Cork manager Conor Coonan. Well, I take it you're not expecting a call from Michael Lester to become an analyst in the near future.
Well, I'd hope so. There's probably 2 vacancies. My contract is up, so I'm expecting the lads to go.
For Cork, is progress measured by how well you're doing against Kerry?
Well, I suppose it's a big factor, given that, you know, if you don't beat Kerry, generally speaking, you're out of the championship. So I suppose, yeah, it most definitely is, particularly the way the thing is structured now. And I suppose, unfortunately, this year we passed a number of tests but didn't pass the vital one.
Yeah. Are there comparisons between Kilkenny last week and Kerry this week? You know, going for 3 in a row and coming into it. Are Kerry maybe a bit more vulnerable than Kilkenny were?
Yeah, I think they probably are, because, you know, I think Kilkenny's victories throughout the year have been fairly emphatic. You know, I think with regard to Kerry, you know, I think a lot of teams were close to them. Monaghan were close, Galway were close, we were close ourselves. So, you know, certainly the gap was wide all the time with Kilkenny, you know. Yeah. So I think it's a bit different.
Well, would there be a similarity perhaps between Waterford and Tyrone, given that Waterford were written off a couple of months ago and Tyrone were written off a couple of months ago?
Yeah, but I suppose Tyrone have a lot of experience, and, you know, I suppose in fairness to Mickey Hart, that squad has been decimated with injuries over the last number of years, and, you know, conceivably, if they'd kept those players injury-free, they might be even going for 3 in a row now. And, you know, for the first time in a long time now, they have them all back and they're going pretty well. I would have seen them against Louth, and at that stage, I think they were 14-1 in the bookies, and I said to guys, lads, get a few bob on there, because they were the value bet at the time.
Did you take it yourself? I've met you in Cheltenham with your bad bets. No.
No, we'll have some few bob, but we might have to lay a bit of it off at the same time.
And like the managers, although it's great for them to be in a final, but they each have big decisions ahead of them, haven't they? I mean, Stephen O'Neill is back with Tyrone, Paul Galvin's available for Kerry.
Yeah, they're big decisions, but, you know, I suppose they're 2 good managers. They wouldn't be where they were unless they were, and they're nice problems to have. You know, it's always good to have more choice, and certainly they have a lot of choices now. But accepting the fact they are hard decisions, because, you know, when you talk about the 2 players in particular, you know, they've been missing the inter-county scene. Can they get to the pace of championship in that setting? But, you know, those managers will be watching those guys in training. They'll make the calls, and I'm sure they'll make the right ones.
Yeah. What is it impresses you most about Tyrone?
I suppose their sheer hunger and teamwork. You know, they worked very well for one another. 2 great wing backs, good target man there in Sean Kavanagh. But it's just their overall teamwork is the big thing. If Kerry get a lead, then Tyrone will have to come out and play a bit. You know, whereas if Tyrone get a bit ahead, I can see them getting numbers behind the ball and making it difficult for Kerry to break them down. Because the reality is Kerry have 3 inside men that are quite capable of doing a lot of damage.
Sure. John O'Shea is here with the goal match on. John, always quiet about Kerry's chances. How difficult will the 3 in a row be, do you think?
Extraordinarily difficult. Like where last Sunday, as a contest, the match was over after 5 minutes. I'd say the match will really start 5 minutes from the end in the All-Ireland final, because these teams are extraordinarily evenly balanced. Very little to choose between them. And the fact that Galvin may be back for Kerry and Stephen O'Neill back for Tyrone makes it even more interesting. Now, I think Tyrone are going to benefit more there because O'Neill is a scoring forward, whereas Kerry have the luxury because they have found in Tommy Welsh one of the best talents that's come on the Gaelic scene for 30, 40 years. So Donny, who can play equally well at full forward and midfield, can be taken out in the knowledge